I want to start off by saying I wouldn't be standing in front of you guys today if it wasn't for Coach Jeff Scott and believing in me and bringing myself and my family here. Since I've been here in Tampa, I came in 2019. Since I've been here, I've had two beautiful little girls. Tampa Bay is an amazing and incredible place. We have an unbelievable university that Michael touched on all the things and the direction that we're heading currently as a university. But I wouldn't be here without Coach Scott and Michael Kelly believing in me and my abilities as a coach to come here in 2019. And I can promise you that I can rest my head on the pillow knowing that I poured every single thing, every ounce of myself into this program, and will continue to do so moving forward for as long as possible. I want to thank Michael Kelly, Chris Pierce, Jay Stroman for giving me the opportunity to lead these young men over the next couple weeks. But it's about these young men. That's the end of it. It is about the student-athlete experience, and it is about these young people. I got into coaching 20 years ago to help young men, and it is about them. So we're going to do everything in our power to give them 3 weeks of the elite student-athlete experience, and our entire staff is invested in that. Everyone that works with our young men are bought into helping them over the next 3 weeks have the absolute best experience they can with the 25% of our season remaining. And when we started this journey back in January, or technically back in December of last year, working towards the 22 season, we all knew that we had a guaranteed 12 games. And we're all locked into that with the understanding that we're taking it one day at a time, and we're going to move forward and have some fun and get these kids ready to play. At that point, I'd like to open it up for any questions that you guys may have.
Why do you think the defense has played so poorly all year, and do you have any ideas or things that you think you can do to correct that over the last 3 games?
I think Michael touched on that earlier as far as that there's been some changes on the defensive staff that were made. So there has been some change on defense when we're hoping that can spark something different, some change. Obviously, there's been some made, so let's find a way to get those things done. As far as the exact X's and O's and schemes and those type of things, I'm not going to talk about that. We've got an opponent that we're about to go play, and I'd rather not give them anything to go off of. But obviously there's some things to correct, and we're working tirelessly. Our defensive staff and the people that are in that room are working tirelessly to find ways to put our kids in situations to be successful, and we're going to work very hard at that every single day to get that done.
Daniel, beginning with this Saturday game and the change, the emotional roller coaster of everything that's happened, the coaching change, you're the interim head coach. What has it been like for you to, go through those days and now you're on the practice field getting ready for another game?
Yeah, I wouldn't say on the way up here I was pulling out my notes for this press conference to be prepared to speak on those things, because I got to be honest, all I've been thinking about is our kids. From obviously the emotional day on Sunday with those young men who myself, the majority of the entire staff, not only the on-the-field coaches, but the support staff and the other people in that wing of this building, and the majority of our team were brought here by Coach Scott. And it's been a very emotional time, but our focus and my focus has been on those young men and being there for them and helping them through that time. Unfortunately, I've been through this as a player twice, and I've been through this as a coach. So I do have experience with this, which is I'd rather not, but I do, and I'm here to help them and support them, and that's our main focus. And we're going to work with these young men every single day to give them the opportunity to get out on the field, and one of our main goals is to have some fun, right? And I'll be honest, the best way to spell fun is W-I-N. But we're going to have some fun every single day, every single second. From the moment they walk in that door, I was down there this morning in the locker room before the team meeting. Just let's go. We've got to have fun in what we do. If we're not having fun in what we do, I don't care what aspect of life we're in. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, it's not going to be good. We're doing that as a staff, and we're doing that with our young men from the moment we stepped out on that field today, from our meetings, to get them to enjoy this time.
Based on what you just said, you're facing an SMU team that has put up 77 points against Houston last week. How do you slow down a juggernaut like that from their offense? Any ideas?
Yeah, they did put up some points last week. Watched the film, seen that. The best thing I can say is we're working tirelessly to find ways to do that. They've done an excellent job. They've progressed throughout the season. They have a very good ball club. But our focus is 100% on us. We have things that we can get better at, and we're going to focus on those things. And I mean, obviously, you got to watch the film and find things that they're doing and work through those things. But our focus is on us and our young men getting better at the things we can do on a daily basis. And then, obviously, as we prepare for them, we'll have things that we're working on.
They were also scoring on 63 points. Should be a lot of opportunities for you guys to score, huh?
Both of those sides, yeah, there was a lot going on. I think there was some onside kicks during that game, too, because of all that. So that was correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was an FBS record for points in regulation in a game. So we're talking about a record game leading up to this. So that was the hand I was dealt, and we're going to go get it. So we're fired up about it, and we're ready to roll.
With Ernie, I mean, it's kind of wild to think about that just 4 or 5 years ago, he was the director of play personnel on Lane Kiffin's staff at FAU. I mean, just to now him, being prepared to be the defensive coordinator of this team for the last few weeks, just what can you say about his rapid ascent up the coaching ranks?
Yeah, I've been with Ernie the last 3 years, Coach Sims the last 3 years, and how he prepares, how he tackles life on a daily basis is an inspiration to everybody around him. He is an absolute professional. He is a phenomenal father, husband, man, mentor of these young men, and I believe that's why you've seen that trajectory through his career. Let's not fail to mention that he was I think he was the number 9 draft pick after 3 years at FSU and had an incredible NFL career as a player. So he understands what it takes to be a professional at the absolute highest level. And I have the utmost confidence in him and our staff to continue on that path.
Daniel, last season, and you had a hand in this too, you changed the defense and you played very well at UCF, very productive defense, and now another change. And you can't overhaul the defense, but can you change some things to really put on a different track in 1 week, progress-wise?
Yeah, and without getting into specifics that would help our opponent, sure you can. There's things that you can do, and we've got to find the things. But can you overhaul it completely? My answer would be no. But we've got to find the things find what they are that we've done well, utilize those, and then find some wrinkles to try and keep a record-setting game last week. I wouldn't say on their heels, on their toes, just keep them on their heels a little bit so that they're not just coming downhill all the time.
Obviously, this year has been frustrating, and in years past, teams are looking for progress. Players are looking for progress. What's the message you send to your team? How do you get this team, fired up to play the 3 remaining games with not knowing what the future is going to be next year for them?
Yeah, I would say, Michael touched on a little bit earlier, I think it's special teams is a very unique role. Obviously, the head coach touches the entire team, and then the next 2 people I think that touch it the most are the strength coach and the special teams coordinator. Because when we go to a meeting, it's the head coach would address the entire team, and then I would step right up and address the entire team, which is one of the neat things about special teams. I played quarterback. I didn't play a lick of special teams. But when I got into special teams, it gave me the opportunity to touch and coach more young men. All of a sudden, I got to coach the backup wideout, running back, receiver, tight end, linebacker, DB, and all of a sudden, I was able to help mentor more young men. And I told them 100% it's about them. I love you. I care for you. I understand what you're going through because I've been there, and I'm here to help. And I told them I'm not going to be any different. And that's the exact same reason I was down in the locker room today, getting them going before we got up to the meeting. I'm not going to change. I'm going to be the exact same that I've been since the day they got here, and I'm going to do my absolute best to give them the best experience possible.
Could you gauge the feeling just among the team of how they're handling this?
Yeah. I think that's important to be able to gauge that, and moving forward, I'm going to have to do that. But I will say this, and I think for all of you that have been in here over the last 3 years, our kids show up. Our kids show up. And I have zero reservations about our kids' fight, drive, and resilience through adversity. And they've been through it. They've been through it. And obviously a very emotional, I'm not sure on the time, 36, 48 hours. But our kids showed up this morning. We had some great meetings. Our kids showed up at practice, a couple minor changes to try and get them going a little bit. And our kids showed up and worked their tails off today. Are there things that will continue to get better? Yeah, absolutely. It's Tuesday. But our kids are very resilient. I'm very proud of the resiliency they showed today and the drive they showed to get better today.
Daniel, what message are you sending and telling recruits at this point with so much uncertainty?
Yeah, I can't comment on specific recruits.
General message.
Yeah, every single one of our coaches have reached out to our committed recruits and spoke to each and every one of them. And I got on the phone, played phone tag with just a couple of them, but I've spoke with the majority of them as well, and just told them to be patient and expressed to them how I feel about this great university and the Tampa Bay area and everything we have going on as an athletic department, as a program. I, with the bottom of my heart, truly believe that we're moving in the right direction as a program. And we've obviously got to do a better job in the win column. But just assured them to take their time. We're here for them. We'll give them every piece of information, and to just be patient as the process takes its course, and we'll be there to communicate along the way.
Daniel, you have many players that were here for the entirety of Jeff Scott's era, or were recruited by him in the last year or two, and they didn't get it done. So what's the temperature of the team? Are they mad? Are they angry? Are they disappointed?
I will say this, yeah, there was a whole bunch of kids that were brought in. The majority of the people up there were brought in by Coach Scott. And Sunday was a very emotional day for all those young men who were brought here and trusted in someone, in the staff, in this great university. And it was an emotional day. But I guess the best thing I would say is that they're a resilient group that knows that we still have 25% of our season and that are pushing towards that. They have an opportunity. They have an opportunity to go out. They already had an opportunity to go out to practice today, and they have an opportunity to go out on Saturday to showcase their talents and abilities that they've been working so hard for throughout the course of a year. There's 353 days that they have to prepare for 12 opportunities. We have an opportunity Saturday, and those kids have worked their tails off to get to this point, and they're going to continue to work to prepare for Saturday's opportunity.
Saturday will be your second home game in 63 days, and I'm sure as you look over to, the Atlantic and what's going on over there, it kind of freaked you out a little bit, but just, how good is it going to be to, have a home game that isn't, hopefully, not postponed by a hurricane or moved by a hurricane?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to worry about what I can control. And if they tell me there's a game wherever it is at whatever time, we're going to be there. We're going to be ready. And we're going to go out and warm up. And we're going to put the ball down. They're either going to kick it off, or we're either going to kick it off, or we're going to go out for kickoff return. And we're just focused internally on us. If there's something that we have to adjust to, I'll figure it out. I've got great support with everybody in the building to be able to help me with those things. But we're preparing as a staff and preparing these young men for whatever comes our way, and we'll be ready.
Daniel, when you played, do I understand it right? You had a head coach that was twice replaced, and you were on a staff that the same thing happened. Is that right?
I have been, yes.
So obviously you understand the resilience, and probably all coaches, this business, that's just part of it, right? Just knowing how to move forward. Is that kind of the sense that, yeah, this has been an emotional and tough to deal with, but it's Tuesday and you practice. That's just what you guys do.
Yeah, it doesn't make it any easier. Let me say that it's hard. The coaches Sunday, I sent all the coaches home right after we got done because they got to go home to their families, and it's difficult. And there's a whole bunch of families that have moved here, and the coaches got to go look little kids in the eyes, and it's hard. And they got to go to school, and it's very, very difficult. But as coaches, Mr. Kelly touched on it. We've got a job to do, and it's not about us. It's about these young men. And it's about us giving them everything we have for their experience that we signed up for. And all of us sat in there in a team meeting at the beginning of the year, and we signed up for that, for these opportunities. And our coaching staff has done an incredible job with that, and so have our young men. So I'm very thankful and proud for them to show up ready to work and to get these young men going and have a good experience for them as we finish.
Coach, it's not the most ideal situation coming into a 1-8 team with a backup quarterback, a few injuries on the defense, and you got 3 conference matchups coming up. What are your expectations for the team for the remainder of the season?
We're going to learn from the past. We're going to live right now as we plan for the future. And my expectations are that we're going to show up to work one day at a time, and we're going to have a great attitude and effort because we control that. And we control how we respond. We don't control adverse situations, but we control how we respond to them. That's a choice. And that's something that as we mentor young people, we've got to teach them in life. There's a lot of things that go on in this world. and there's a lot of adversity that hits us in the face that we're not always in control of. But we are in control of how we respond to it. And that's something that we'll work through all the time. And we're going to have a phenomenal attitude and effort from the moment we wake up, and we're going to go throughout our day. And I talk to these guys all the time, man, and I truly believe it from the bottom of my heart. It is always a great day to be a USF Bull. And I'm fortunate to be here under this great leadership and working with this young man, and I'm excited for that.
And you look at these next 3 games as a possibility that you guys have some success, that you and the staff could be retained and be the next head coach?
I think Michael touched on that earlier. We're talking about 3 games. I'm working on today. I'm going to get out of this meeting or get out of this, and I'm going to go work on the next thing, getting ready for the next practice, taking it one day at a time. I've said it multiple times. I love it here. I think it's an incredible place. But I'm working for these young men, and I'm going to give them everything I have, and whatever happens from there, happens from there. And I do love it here, and it's a great place. I'm going to work my tail off to give them the best experience over these next 3 weeks, and that stuff will take care of itself down the road.
Daniel,
You would like the
if I-
job, though. You would like the job, is that safe to say?
In the last 36 hours, I've been spinning a little bit to try and get everything prepared, but I'm enjoying leading these young men, I think would be the best way to put it.
And if I understand it right, you're the son of a coach who at some point probably told you not to coach, do something else, and you didn't listen. So here you are. So is it just in your blood to do this and bring that energy? I mean, this is your life. This is what you love, right? Being
Absolutely.
part of teams and
Yeah.
leading teams.
Yeah, I think you said it best. I mean, I was told not to get into it, and here I am. I grew up leaving school and getting dropped off at practices with my dad every day, and going to football games. He coached high school and junior college in California, and I've got to make sure that just timing-wise, he and my mom are coming in to see their grandkids, and I got to make sure somebody goes and picks them up, so I don't forget that. That's probably something I need to put on the calendar. But they're going to be here this week, and I'm excited for them to be around their grandkids and get to come to the game. But I can't say it enough. I got into this to help young people, and I got to see that firsthand with my dad, helping young people throughout their life. And those are the things that that I look at in coaching that are enjoyable, is when those young men call you and say thank you, and I appreciate you, and I love you, and we'll continue to love up on these kids during a very difficult time. But I'm very I don't think I work a day in my life. I get to help mentor young people, and football is the vehicle that allows me to do that.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.